Pregame.com.
Wednesday night, college basketball action. We're going to the Big East, West Virginia at Notre Dame, ESPN. I'm Marco D'Angelo. I'm joined by Brian Leonard. Brian, right now, Notre Dame's one of the hottest teams in the country. They're doing it in, not many people saw this coming out of Notre Dame this year. What's your thoughts setting this one up? I've got to play in this game, and it's going to be my best bet, but it's not going to be where you're thinking I'm coming from. So I'll let you take the page.
I'll tell you what I'm looking at here. You've got an Irish team coming off a huge come-from-behind victory against at Villanova, game that they were out of that game, and they come back and win that game in overtime. So I think it might be a little bit of a letdown spot here. As you said, it's been a team who's been hot as of late, and now they're playing a team that they've already beaten. They won at West Virginia 55-51, very low-scoring game. But I'm going to take the road dog here, and I'll tell you why. This is a huge game for West Virginia. They've only beaten three quality teams, three top 40 teams all year long. Two of those games were in overtime. Their only clear win over a top 40 team was when they beat Georgetown at home. I believe they won by 12. This is a team, West Virginia, and I've followed Bob Huggins his entire career. In fact, when I was at Akron, he was the Akron coach. So I've gone on my way to follow his programs, and he's always done a very good job. He doesn't have the players this year, but this is a team who's used to winning, and they're in a situation right now they need every single win just to get into the tournament. Going back to that game they played 2 weeks ago, the Mountaineers, amazingly, keep in mind they're playing at home. Mm-hmm. They shot 3 free throws. They shot 13% from three-point range, and they actually had a 4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. Now, when you only score 51 points, you're not getting many assists.
No.
But you're not having many turnovers. In fact, neither one of these teams really do. They take care of the basketball, and they don't turn the ball over. The last 6 times that they've played Notre Dame, they've won 4 of those 6. The 2 losses were the aforementioned 4-point loss, in which they shot 3 free throws at home, and then a 2-point loss earlier. Very important game for West Virginia here, and I think the Irish a little bit overrated, in my opinion, at this point. So I think we'll be able to come in with an underdog, and I expect them to win outright.
Well, I agree with you on West Virginia, and when I handicapped the game, that's the way I was looking, was West Virginia plus the points. But the more I dug into the game, I started looking at the total, and I love this total. And the reasons that I love this total is let's set the stage here. Let's go back to Saturday, that game Notre Dame against Villanova. Villanova, as you said, had them on the ropes. For Notre Dame to get back in that game, they had to have an intense defensive effort that second half to get them back. When, if you're scoring points, when you're down, you can score, but you still got to stop the other team or you're not making up the ground. And they had a tremendous effort, and you expended a lot of energy on defense in that game to come back and win that game on the road. And that was a big game Saturday night on ESPN for them to do that. West Virginia also in their last game, they haven't played since last Thursday, so they're well rested, but they're coming off a big game for them, and that was the backyard brawl with the Pitt Panthers. Now, granted, Pitt's down this year, and they've been, it's hard to believe this team was a top 15 team early in the season, and they've just totally fell apart. But Pitt, West Virginia is still a big rivalry. That's as big as Ohio State, Michigan in football, when Pitt, West Virginia. And even more so this year because of what's going on with the conference realignments. We don't know if that series is going to continue, with them moving on. It's easier to carry on a basketball, you can do carry a season, a series, play 1 year at West Virginia, one year.
You're playing 30 games as opposed to 10 or whatever.
So, but still, it was a big game. And West Virginia went into the Pete and not only beat Pitt, they smacked them around, and they had their best defensive effort of the season. They held Pitt to 48 points, I believe. So you got 2 teams coming off of huge defensive efforts. They played this game, the first game, 55-51. The over-under in that game was 127. Vegas is going to make an adjustment based on the first game and based off of the scores that we just had these teams coming off of. So we're going to get tremendous line value here. This total will come out a few points lower than the 127. This game's going to be played totally different. West Virginia can't play a half-court game with Notre Dame. Notre Dame plays better that way. West Virginia is going to want to up the tempo, and West Virginia can play up-tempo. If you look at a lot of their games this year, they've played them in the 70s, upper 70s. I see this type of game in this game because both teams coming off of big games. I just don't see that intensity. And for Notre Dame, as hot as they're playing, that win on Saturday, they got to relax a little bit after that come from behind win and playing a team you already beat on the road. I see them easily getting into the 130s in this game, pushing to the 140 mark. I'm going to go over, and it's going to be my video best bet of the week.
I don't have anything against your play, but I do have a couple of things you want to take a look at. Number one is neither team shoots threes very well, and they both defend a three. So most of their scoring is going to have to be on the inside. And you talked about setting the pace. West Virginia wanted to run. They couldn't run at home. Now they're going on the road as a road dog. You wouldn't expect them to be able to dictate the pace there. That would be my only concern.
Well, I think it's a situation when they played that first game, and I know they weren't able. Notre Dame really took them out of their game. I think West Virginia's got to push the tempo. You've almost got to force them. It's like in football, when you keep running to try to set up the pass later, is the fact that Notre Dame coming off that overtime game too. West Virginia is going to have the fresher legs in this game, being that they didn't play since last Thursday, and Notre Dame was on the road Saturday, played an overtime game, and like I said, the big defense. I always say it takes more energy to play defense than it does to play offense. So those are the things I'm looking at here. I like it. We'll see what happens. I think it's I like your play as well. I could have easily just sat here and taken West Virginia plus the points because I'm a guy that I love to take a team as a road dog when they lost at home in the first meeting. I just think you're getting added value in the line because Vegas has to adjust because of that, disparity in the first game. If you were a favorite at home in the first meeting and you lost outright, Vegas has got to do something with the number in the rematch. And then you always have the possibility the team that won on the road could be a little bit lax and take the other team for granted because we beat them up there. So West Virginia plus the points from Brian. My video best bet over the total. I'm projecting this game at 136 or higher. This total is going to come out nowhere near that. It's going to be like probably 125 to 127 for the total. Easily, we've got it over the total for my video best bet. As we do every week on the video best bet, we give you a $10 coupon. This week, that coupon is going to be the word over and the number 10. All one word, over, and the number 10 behind it. You'll get $10 off. Just go to the shopping cart, put in there whatever you want to buy, and enter that coupon code. It'll automatically take $10 off your order. If the package is only $10, it's free on RJ. That doesn't happen too often, although somebody actually posted a picture of RJ actually paying a tab last week.
You notice that was probably the cheapest lunch we've ever had. You decided to pick up a tab on it. His actual meal cost more than our two combined, I believe.
Yeah, it did. You're right.
So he's a pretty smart guy to pick that
so
up.
now it's like your turn or my turn.
When we get to the steakhouse, it's our turn. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That guy, I'll tell you, can't get anything on him. All right, he's Brian Leonard. I'm Marco D'Angelo. Good thing RJ doesn't watch the videos. We'll be back. One more game. We're going NBA. Lakers at Dallas. Be a good one on Wednesday night. We're going to cover it next.